Imagine two Indians. The first buys a piece of land. The second buys shares in a company. 20 years later, the landowner becomes a local success story. The stock investor becomes wealthy too. But ask most Indian families which investment they trust more. And the answer is almost always the same. Real estate. A house. A plot of land. An apartment. Something you can see. Something you can touch. Something that feels permanent. Today, Indian households hold trillions of rupees worth of real estate. For many families, property is not just an investment. It is a dream. A status symbol. A retirement plan. And sometimes, an entire family's life savings. But why? Why did real estate become India's favorite investment? Why do families stretch finances for decades to buy a home? And why, even today, do many Indians trust property more than stocks? This is the story of India's obsession with real estate. Chapter 1: A country built on land. To understand India's love for real estate, we need to go back hundreds of years. For most of human history, land was wealth. Kings owned land. Farmers worked land. Families passed land from one generation to the next. If you owned land, you owned power. You owned security. You owned your future. Long before stock markets existed, land was already the ultimate asset. And that belief survived into modern India. Even today, many Indians still view land as the safest form of wealth. Not because of economics, but because of history. Chapter 2: The Indian Dream. For millions of Indians, buying a house is more than a financial decision. It's an emotional milestone. A rented house never truly feels yours. But a home you own represents stability, success, respect. Parents dream of owning one. Children grow up hearing about it. Entire families save for decades to achieve it. In India, owning property became a symbol of achievement. The moment someone buys a house, society sees them differently. The house becomes proof. Proof that years of hard work paid off. And that emotional value is incredibly powerful. Chapter 3: Why property always felt safe. There is a simple reason many Indians trust real estate. They can see it. A stock certificate is just paper. A mutual fund is numbers on a screen. But a house, a plot, an apartment, those are real. Physical. Visible. And because property prices usually don't change dramatically overnight, people perceive them as safer. Even during economic uncertainty, a house still stands. And that creates confidence. Whether justified or not, real estate feels safer than financial assets. And feelings often influence investment decisions more than facts. Chapter 4: The Great Property Boom. Then came economic liberalization. India opened its economy. Cities expanded. Jobs increased. The middle class grew. And suddenly, millions of people wanted homes. Demand exploded. Developers launched massive projects. New cities emerged. Apartment towers transformed skylines. Property prices climbed rapidly. Stories of wealth creation spread everywhere. Someone bought land for 1 Indian rupee lakh. Years later it was worth 50 Indian rupees lakh. Another bought an apartment. Its value doubled. Then tripled. Then multiplied again. Real estate became more than shelter. It became a wealth machine. And everyone wanted a piece of it. Chapter 5: The Hidden Risks. But every investment has risks. Including property. Prices don't always rise. Projects get delayed. Developers fail. Legal disputes emerge. Maintenance costs grow. Taxes increase. And unlike stocks, real estate is not easy to sell quickly. Yet many investors ignored these risks. Because the success stories were everywhere. People saw the winners. Few noticed the struggles. The belief remained. Property always goes up. But reality is often more complicated. Chapter 6: Real Estate versus Stocks. Today, the debate continues. Property or stocks? Real estate offers stability, rental income, and emotional comfort. Stocks offer liquidity, ownership in businesses, and the power of compounding. One is physical. The other is productive. One provides shelter. The other provides scalability. Neither is perfect. Neither is guaranteed. But understanding the difference matters. Because investing is not about choosing what's popular. It's about choosing what works for your goals. Chapter 7: The Future of Indian Wealth. A new generation is emerging. One that grew up with smartphones, digital investing, mutual funds, and SIPs. Many young Indians still want to own a home. But they are also discovering something new. Ownership doesn't always mean property. It can mean owning businesses too. Owning innovation. Owning growth. For the first time in history, millions of Indians can participate in wealth creation without buying land. And that may change the future of investing forever. Final chapter: The Real Lesson. The story of Indian real estate is not really about buildings. It's about psychology, security, trust, and human behavior. For generations, property represented safety. And for many families, it still does. But wealth creation is evolving. India is changing. Investment options are expanding. And financial literacy is growing. The future may not belong only to property owners. It may belong to those who understand assets. All assets. Because the smartest investors don't ask, which asset is best? They ask, what role should each asset play? Today, millions of Indians continue to chase the dream of owning a home. And perhaps they always will. But understanding why we invest is just as important as understanding where we invest. At Alpha Lens, we're not here to chase trends. We're here to understand businesses, markets, and the stories that shape wealth. Because the smartest investors don't just look at prices. They see beyond price.